Hi, Lucile. I'm Renu, editor of WFM Media, and we have two magazines, Window and Facade for India and Window and Facade for the world. So we project facade and fenestration industry, represent facade and fenestration industry, promote sustainability, and welcome to our channel. So could you please introduce yourself, Lucile, and your company Hydro?
Okay, for sure. So my name is Lucile Souyri. I'm French. I'm coming from south of France. I have been working for Hydro Building Systems since 7 years now. So I have started working in Germany. Then I moved to Singapore and I was working for Southeast Asian market and supporting India and Middle East as well, working with my colleagues from those areas. And since 2020, I'm in charge of sustainability for Hydro Building System. So Hydro Building System is a group which is owned by Norsk Hydro, specialized in aluminium. And for Hydro Building System, we are distributing 4 brands which are dedicating to windows, doors, and facade solution in aluminium.
Fantastic. So you have been working in many countries.
Yes.
And I'm sure your exposure will be so good that you can advise the world how to go about sustainability.
Yes.
Can you give a short description on your company, Hydro?
So Hydro, you mean Hydro, Norsk Hydro?
Right.
Okay.
So your kind of work in Hydro, yes, the company, and how do they help bringing in sustainability in construction, real estate, or how do you promote sustainability in the world for the future generation?
So we have been working on a sustainability strategy since 2018. We have started our journey before 2018, of course, but since 2018 we have started this new strategy to go beyond and to build beyond what we are doing and how we are doing things today. And our priority is to first decarbonize what we do, our activities, and then to decarbonize the building and construction sectors. And it goes by increasing, of course, the performances of our product, but also and mainly about decreasing the embodied carbon in our product. So working on the material, on our extrusion process, for instance, and on everything that we are using in our product.
All right. So according to the UN report, the construction industry accounts for 37% of all energy-related carbon dioxide emissions, right?
Yes.
And it's one of the major contributors for climate change also. However, the industry has been very slow to embrace the sustainability initiatives probably because of looking at the profit, assuming that it will reduce profits. So how can we change the mindset, and what are your inputs on this as a representative of the company who promotes sustainability so much? And what are the solutions for the same? And how can you reduce embodied carbon and make the construction industry more profitable too?
So actually, I'm not agreeing on the fact that using sustainable material or being sustainable will reduce profit. When we look at this 37% of energy-related CO2 emission, first it's for both the embodied carbon in the building, so the materials that we put in the building, and the second emission is from the operational use of the building. So the energy that we need to cool or to heat the building, so to operate the building. When we look at sustainable buildings with really great performances, thermal performances, and so on, you can reduce drastically the energy usage. So first, you can have not more profit, but you can reduce the cost of operating the building by constructing building with high thermal performances. So this is the first point. Then when we talk about the embodied carbon, Of course, sustainable materials are a bit more expensive because it's more complicated to produce. For instance, we are using recycled aluminium, and it's quite complicated. You need to sort the material. You then need to remelt the aluminium to build new windows from old windows. So, of course, there is a bit of an upcharge to use sustainable materials, that's for sure. But today, it's sustainability. It's something which is more and more asked by end user, for instance. And I really think, and I'm a strong believer that sustainability can bring a lot of value to a building. Some people, they prefer to live in sustainable buildings when it comes to materials, so to have more comfort, to make sure that the materials are healthy, to know that the lifestyle that they are embracing are sustainable. So it's something actually that can bring some profits, I think, for investors in building and construction sectors.
Okay, people should be very conscious of the material what is going in their construction, right?
Yes.
So we have a lot of innovations in the material. For example, the aluminum which we use on facades or the windows or the glass which we are using on the building exteriors. It matters a lot. And decarbonization initiatives are becoming increasingly more and more popular, which presents an opportunity for the construction companies to build more eco-friendly and conscious future infrastructure. For example, the kind of airports which we are building up now, or the huge infrastructure. Like in India, we have a lot of transport infrastructure coming up, which in huge scale. So where all we use a lot of glass, aluminum, and stuff like that. Could you please throw some light on the decarbonization initiative happening worldwide and those by Technal?
So actually, we have been launching a lot of different initiatives when it comes to decarbonization for the building and construction sectors. Of course, I repeat it because it's the first base actually of decarbonization is increase the thermal performances of the building to make sure that during its lifespan we use as less as possible energy. So this is, I think, the first base of sustainability and decarbonization. The second one is to work on circularity. So to be able to take an old windows and to reuse all the material from these old windows. And I'm not speaking only about aluminium, but also about the glazing, about the gaskets, about the thermal breaks, and so on, to be able to build a new windows from that product. We have been making some studies based on the carbon emission of the windows in Europe, and by using recycled material, you can reduce by in between 50 and 70% the embodied carbon of the facade, of the windows, of the doors. So to me, if we want to build decarbonize the building and construction sectors, we really have to work on those two chapters: the performances of the building and the embodied carbon. And the last thing is to make sure that the products that we are putting in the market today will be easily dismantleable, reusable, or recyclable for tomorrow.
Yeah. So here 2 points. What you're saying is, one is about recycling and using proper materials, right?
Yes.
Could you please just give me those 2 points which you were mentioning once again, please, so that the audience become clear?
About recycling?
Yes, 2 points you said: recycling and reusable materials, right?
Yes. So when actually you can reuse some windows. It depends on, we have been working on some projects with some governments or with some architectural firms on how we could take a Windows frame, a good Windows frame with the right thermal performances, let's say in 10 to 20 to 30 years, and put it back in a new building. So to me, this would be the last phase, let's say, of circularity, to be able to take a product and to reuse it in a new building without having to transform it again. So these are things that we are working on. Of course, it's a bit complicated, but these are lines that we are moving on with it, and it's quite promising, let's say, for the future. The second point, and what we are focusing on today, is that recyclability of buildings, it's really important. So today in a lot of regions around the world, so Middle East, for instance, but also in Europe, we are in the States as well. There is a huge renovation wave coming, so a lot of buildings which will be deconstructed. And we need to take advantage of this urban mining, actually, all these material which are there in the cities, and we to take the full advantage of it, we need to recycle them, not only to reuse it in new products, but to upcycle them, so to make sure that they are reused in the same way that they were used for their first life. So this is what we are doing and working on, for instance, with our aluminium Circal 75R. So it's an aluminium which is 75% recycled. And so today we are able to take an old Windows frame, to sort all the different parts, to take only the aluminium, and to create new aluminium from it, which is good to use in the building and construction sectors. This is quite new, actually, because everyone knows that aluminium is recyclable, but previously it was more downcycled. So we were taking a pure for the building and construction sectors, and then we were putting it in on other type of application, like for instance on cans or any other type of aluminium. So this was not really good. So we are really promoting the recycling of material for the same usage over and over again. And we are also working with our suppliers for them to reuse also the materials that they put into the window.
Right. So great. I mean, just my curiosity, Hydro is producing a lot of material. How much of your new products are, recycled or reused material?
So for now, actually, we are mainly for the recycled material. We are mainly targeting the European countries, and today in Europe we've got 70% of our products with recycled material.
Fantastic! 70% of your material what you're using in producing new products are recycled aluminium and products like
yes.
So with the global population, which is about 2 billion, going to be 2 billion by 2050, new buildings will have an important effect on the environment and energy use as well as carbon emissions. Can you please point out a few measures, key measures, or summarize the ways to address the decarbonization in buildings? How
So
address the issue and what are the solutions?
Sorry, what was your last sentence?
I said, how can you address this problem of the population increasing, the material being used in tons and tons, and how can you summarize the ways to address the decarbonization in buildings? The key points which you would summarize and tell our audience what should be done for the future.
Okay, so first, I insist on that point because I know that still a lot of countries around the world are not working enough on that part. On that part, it's the thermal performances of the building. This is the first priority. So to make sure that the envelope of the building are rightly constructed and allow the building to have the right thermal performances and to reduce as much as possible the energy usage. Then the second topic will be to increase, of course, the lifespan of the products that we are putting into the building, so to have buildings which last longer. Also, we have to work and think about the well-being of inhabitants of the building, so to build buildings which with a lot of sun coming in and so on and so on. We have to work on the sun shading as well, on the building envelopes. This is really important. Vegetalized building is also something that can reduce drastically the thermal the energy usage during the operational phase of the building. Then when it comes to construction, we have to think about modular construction in order to build better, let's say, the building. We have also to think, of course, about urban mining. So instead of using primary material, always think about recycling what we have here and now, so in the city. We have to work, of course, on the eco-design of product and buildings. So making sure that, for instance, I don't know, for the windows frame, for the facade, to reduce the weight of aluminium in the construction in order to reduce the embodied carbon. We need to think as well about dismantability of product in the building and so on and so on. So eco-design is also really important. The reuse of building and construction supplies, like for instance, reusing a windows from a building to another. And of course, one of the key points, it's not only to recycle material in the building and construction sector, but to upcycle it and to reuse it, or to reuse it for the same purpose.
All right. So, okay. So we heard that the Hydro and Saint-Gobain Glass are partnering to decarbonize building facades. Could you please tell us about the new initiative with the Saint-Gobain, the glass manufacturers?
Yes, so Saint-Gobain and us, we are in discussion since more than a year now. Actually, we are sharing exactly the same ambition when it comes to sustainability and circularity. And they have released almost 1 year ago a new product which is called Orae, and which is based on recycled glass. So actually, we work with them on reducing the carbon footprint of the building and construction sector, on the facade, on the windows, and on the doors, by providing recycled glazing and recycled aluminum frame. And we have done some studies on our product versus regular products, so products which are not using recycled material. And we can reduce by 50% the embodied carbon of a window, of a facade, or of a door by using recycled material, so Circal 75R or aluminium, and Orae, the glazing of Saint-Gobain. With Saint-Gobain, we also work on the recovery of material. So we have ambitious targets to take back old frame and to bring it to a new frame. And so Saint-Gobain, they are also working on circularity model for the glazing industry. And so in Europe, we are working together on some project to take back the old frame from renovation projects and to bring it back to new products.
All right. So here you're using the recycled glass too, right?
Yes.
And with the upscaled frames of aluminium, you're using the recycled glass. Okay, fantastic initiative. I hope the world follows it and uses more of recycled products and upscale whatever is existing to new usage of better buildings and reduce the carbon footprints for the future generation. Wishing you the very best. And thank you for all the information. Please sending us the information so that the world come to know about such lovely things which you are doing for the betterment of the society, for the environment, as well as the building sector. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lucile, thank you.